Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura B Flosstube. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. This is Flosstube 60. I cannot believe I've done 60 floss tubes on my channel. It is so crazy to think about all of the changes and the stitches and the friends that I've gained along the way. It is so wonderful to be able to share with you that I'm over 7,200 subscribers at this point. I can't even imagine 7,200 people wanting to tune in to listen to little old me, but I'm so glad that you do. And this, just so everyone knows, this is June 25th of 2024. I'm coming to you from the lovely Columbia, Missouri, home of the Tigers. And today I'm just going to share with you my cross-stitch progress, my quilting progress, my plans. I might even throw in a few July goals. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to wing it today. So please stay tuned and we'll get into this journey together. Okay, so first up, I want to share my cross-stitch progress. Last time I told you that I hadn't made much progress on my Houses on Pumpkin Lane, which is Pansy Patch Quilting and Stitchery, but I have made some progress to share with you today. So let me grab that and I'll share the progress on that stitch first. All right, so where am I at? Okay, there it is. This is my progress on the Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery, Houses on Pumpkin Lane. I am working on the chrysanthemum house. I was hoping to have this done by the end of June. I'm not sure if that's going to happen because I just have until I think it's Saturday and we have a busy week ahead of us. But this is where I'm at right now. I do have all of the red except for the little chimney stitched in, so that's a pretty good progress. I do have to do all those little flowers and the shutters and the windows and the roof and the bird and the star and oh my! But that, and the door. But this is where I'm at right now, and I do hope to get it finished up, if not by the end of June, by early July, so I can start the next house in this stitch. And I'm just going to show you the pattern so you can see what this chrysanthemum house looks like when I get it done. So here's the chart, here's the pattern picture for this one. I would not show the chart, of course. But this is the chrysanthemum house, and it is Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. And it's part of their Houses on Pumpkin Lane. I am stitching all 9 of the houses on one big piece of 28 count Lugana cloth. And I am stitching it with DMC, but I am not using the called for colors just because I mentioned before I didn't want to go shopping. So I did my own little colors on the stitch, and this is kind of what I'm doing there. And then next up in this series, after I get the chrysanthemum house done, because I'm hoping to have this next one started before I see you, the next house I'll be starting is the maple house, and that will finish out my first row for this stitch. It's a 3x3 grid. I'm not stitching these bottom borders, and I'm not stitching the border that she has designed on her website to go with this stitch. I'm just doing a pretty basic gingham. And let me show you that real quick. Okay, so yeah, I'm just doing a really basic little gingham stitch, basically just this kind of a black color, it's dark brown, I guess, and just leaving every other one blank, so it looks kind of like a little gingham ribbon going across there. So here are the two together. Man, I thought I'd be so much further than I am with this, but it is what it is. And it will get done when it gets done, because if it's not done for this fall, it'll be done for next fall or the following fall or fall in 10 years. I don't know. It'll be done sometime. So let me get everything back in the bag. And I am going to show you what I keep in my bag and just how I kind of stay organized and such. But I'm going to do that with the next stitch because this one, to be quite honest, has a ton of stuff in it. Okay, next up, this bag, and I'm going to show you what's in here because I want to show you kind of like how I get my projects organized. I feel like that might be helpful. So I do have a project bag and I do have a floss clutch, and if you haven't checked those out in my Etsy shop, please do so because I do have a few patriotic bags and clutch sets for sale. So make sure you check those out. The link will be in the description box down below. But inside this bag, so here's my bag with my cute little tag, little charm. And then I have my floss ring, and that's all the colors I need for the stitch. And then I also have another bag Actually, it's the one that the pattern came in, but I put extra skeins of my floss that I think I might need before I get done with the stitch, especially if I start one of my floss drops and it doesn't have too much floss on it. I'll throw another skein in a bag just so I don't have to go hunt for it when I need it. Then, of course, I have the pattern, and this bag is for the Colorado Cross Stitcher Signpost Stitcher. And I have started this one. I've gotten the border almost done. I still got to put those spools in, and I'll show you that in a minute. Then on the back of this pattern, I like to use, there's a clear sticky note. Hopefully you can see the sticky note on there. So I have these clear Post-it notes that will cover up the area, but then I can just write on top of it and not actually write on my pattern. And then I can write down the colors that I'm using instead of the ones the pattern calls for. And I also have a few notes up top that just tell me how big it's going to be, how big of a cloth I need, what the finished size is, all that kind of good stuff. So this is quite a large stitch, actually. I did not realize it was this big, but yeah, it is. And then I like using Nerge hoops, and I use, let's see, this is the 110 millimeter size. I think it's the small hoop. So if you're looking for the Nerge hoops, this is the small size. I like this size. Anything bigger than this, my hand starts to cramp a little bit. And I was having some problems with just some aching in my forearm and elbow area. So I switched back to a smaller hoop, and it's a lot better. I do like using a hoop with Lugana cloth just because I like to keep it a little taut. But on my Ada, I typically just stitch in hand. I don't use a hoop. But with Lugana, I definitely use a hoop. And I like the Nerge hoops. Then I have my floss clutch, and this is something that I have some of these in my Etsy shop. Not exactly like this, they are different designs, but I wanted to explain what the things inside the clutch was used for. So here's the clutch when it's closed, and this one has a button closure, and this one I really just did a really quick and easy serged edge finish for it. It worked really great, and I like the finished edge of this. Inside I have a white fleece, and actually I think this, yeah, it's a white fleece, so it won't pill and pull and give you all those little fuzzies like batting will, which I know in the beginning some people were using batting for inside their clutches, and it just doesn't hold up very well. And I also switched to fleece or flannel for my design boards, which you can check that video out on my channel as well if you're interested in making some design boards for yourself. I have a great tutorial on that. But then inside the clutch, I have this little pocket, and let me explain. Let me take my scissors off of here and my needle minder, because inside this pocket, I have one of the rare earth magnets. And so I just slip that in the pocket, and then my needle minder will snap right on there. I also have this little tabby here that I can stick some needles in case I have some thread left over, or just for storing an extra needle or two, because you never know when you're going to bend it or lose it. So it's always nice to have a couple needles with each project right there in your clutch. And then my scissors, of course, because of that magnet and needle minder, they will just stick right onto my needle minder and be happy right there in my clutch. Now these are, they're fairly thin and definitely flexible. So I like laying this on the arm of my chair, and then I can just put my threads on here when I'm using them and keep stitching. All right, so that's what is all in the bag except for the project. Now here is my project. So I have the border done for the most part. I need to put 2 spools in. So basically it's just a pretty easy little swirly border with some leaves and some little blue, I think they're forget-me-nots maybe, although I want to say maybe columbine, because Colorado is a columbine state with the pretty blue flowers. So maybe that's what it was supposed to be. I don't know. But anyway, just some little leaves and some little blue dots with this swirly border. So this is the size that it's going to be. And then that Stitcher signpost is going to go inside of here. So this is definitely larger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would probably be like half of that size. But I am stitching this on 28 count mushroom Lugana, and as I showed you, I switched out most of the colors. I am using DMC, and So I am doing 2 over 2 on the 28 count. I think the pattern called for 18 count, which I just prefer 14 count. So that's what I'm stitching on. So one of the reasons I wanted to share what was inside my bag, a couple different reasons. One, just because I wanted to show you how to use those floss clutches and what the intent was for the little pocket and the tag and all that kind of good stuff. But the other reason is because that's the only 2 cross stitch projects I have going right now. I don't know how long it's been since I've only had 2 cross stitch projects going. That just seems like ridiculous to me. I feel like I need to pick another one. So that's what, and this morning when I was digging through my cross stitch box, I actually have a vintage picnic basket that I use to put my project bags in for things that are in progress. And there's only, well, there's 4 bags in there, but one of them is the Prairie Schooler Santa, which I could work on the next Prairie Schooler Santa, and I might do that. But I wanted to start something new. So I pulled out the other bag, which is kitted up and just laying in there, and it has been for probably almost a year. Yeah, so let me show you that. So I have this bag, and this bag, it has some identity issues, okay? That's just what I'm gonna say, because I have my Halloween stuff up here, and this is a Halloween stitch, but then I needed something to put all the floss colors in, so I just threw this Mizzou bag in here. So inside the Mizzou bag is all the floss colors for this chart, and that's a lot, but like that's a lot. And it looks like there's some DMC and there's an anchor spool in here too, which that explains why I haven't been able to find that anchor spool. That's where it's at. Okay, so this is what happens when you kit things up and you don't start it. You don't know what's in there. In addition to that, I have this gorgeous hand-dyed Ada, and it's a 14 count, and I do need to serge this edge so it doesn't fray on me, but I have a 14 count, kind of a gray hand-dyed Ada, and cute a little floss clutch that has a little pumpkin and a little cricket vinyl right there, and one needle, so I should put another one in there. But hey, look, I have a pumpkin, and I forgot I had that. Yeah, this is why you gotta start stitches, people. Don't just kit up and forget to start them. Okay, so this is a mismatch because I have sewing stuff, and I have a Mizzou stuff, and I have Halloween stuff. So this is actually, oh, look at my cute little Halloween bag. Isn't it cute? This was a panel set that had like 9 of these little guys in it, and I used some of them for something else, and then I had one left over, so I was like, ooh, I know, I'll put them into a little project bag. So that's what I did. So my little Halloween bag, I need to start stitching this because I love this bag. This is the Stitchonomy 2022 Cabinet of Curiosities. It was a Halloween stitch along that Stitchonomy did. They actually have another sew along going on right now for their summer sampler banner, and they have another one starting this fall. I'll put a link down below if you want to go sign up for that. They have like awesome stitches, you guys. I've done a few of them, and I really do want to do this Cabinet of Curiosities. I don't want to show you the pattern though because she's selling this pattern now. Anyway, I think I'm gonna start the Cabinet of Curiosities. If nothing else, I'm just gonna like start the border, and I'll find a picture and I'll insert it so you can, I probably already have, but there's the stitch. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna start it, which that puts me in the Halloween mood. I mean, how could this bag not put you in the Halloween? I mean, look at those cute little bats. They're so happy, right? I love them. Okay, so in the Halloween mood because it is June, almost the 4th of July, and it's getting hot here in Missouri. In fact, it's supposed to be like heat index of over 100 this week, and I'm just already over summer. I'm ready for fall. So I pulled out my Spooktacular cross stitch book. This is Romina Petrucci, and this is like amazing because I saw her in St. Charles at the Needlework Galleria. And I took my book with me, and I was like, would you please autograph my book, because I love you so much. She is amazing. I love her stitches. They're so cute. They're so fun. And so I went through this morning and I picked out 3 different stitches that I'm thinking about doing. Here's number 1. Happy Halloween. And the second choice is the cat and pumpkin. Again, so, so cute. And these are smaller stitches because I feel like I want a smaller stitch. You guys, I have so many big stitches that I need a smaller stitch too. And then the last one is this Happy Halloween with a bat and candy corn and a boo sign. I really like this one a lot. I feel like this is probably my first choice, and the ghost is my second choice, and the cat and pumpkin are my third choice. I might go crazy and do all 3 of them, but I think I definitely want to do this. And let's see, the Happy Halloween, the bat is 98 by 38, so I don't know what she's stitching this on. Oh, she's stitching on a 16 count, which makes it 6 by 2.5. So that's a pretty small stitch. Oops, there we go. It's a pretty small stitch. And I'm pretty sure I can get it done fairly quickly. So I think that I'm going to kit this one up later today and start on it. Even though I want to get the Pumpkin Lane house done, I just need something smaller to do real quick like. Okay, so that is my cross stitch updates. Let's talk cross stitch goals. I'm just gonna refer to my June goals, and then we can talk about what I haven't gotten done. All right, so June goals. I wanted to finish the You Are the Boss, and I did finish it on the 3rd. Can't believe that. I had down that I was going to finish the 1990 Prairie Schooler Santa, and that was finished actually before June 1st. So I finished that, and I've achieved that goal as well. The second Pumpkin Lane house, I wanted to finish it. I don't know if it's going to be finished, but it'll be close. And then I had 3 choices for what I wanted to start in June, and I chose to do the Colorado Cross Stitcher Signpost Stitcher, and I have finished it. Or I haven't finished it. I have started it. I've gotten that border done, so I feel like I've done good on my June goals. So I wanted to start talking about July goals too, and it's probably going to be similar, but just adding in the ones I just showed you. And then as far as quilting, we'll come back to that in a minute, because let's talk quilting. Quilting progress update. Oh goodness. Okay, so I'm doing the Moda Blockheads 5 group 2, and there's 30 blocks. Tomorrow, block 26, I believe, is the one that comes out. It's either 26 or 27. I don't know. I'm current, so that's great. And here's last week's block that I put together. It was like a lot faster and easier than the previous, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, just because there was no paper piecing on this one. Thank goodness. This one was pretty straightforward, pretty easy to stitch up, and I love the result of it, so I'm happy with that. Then we have the How to Build a Scarecrow with Lori Holt. I'm trying to stay current with that one. I am somewhat current. Here are this week's blocks. They're sewn together, like the pieces are sewn to the shapes, and I have 3 boards. That's the shirt, and here are the apples. And here's the hat. So all of the shapes are sewn. I just have to cut them out, flip them, press them, glue them, applique them, trim them, put them together, put them in with what I already have done. So I'm almost there. But I want to share what I do have done for the Lori Holt How to Build a Scarecrow quilt. So I'm going to swing you around so you can see the blocks that I have finished. All right, so here is the Lori Holt How to Build a Scarecrow. I think this was the first week, maybe, I don't even know. But we have all the way through this week finished, and I am like putting them together as I go along. So that's one thing, if you're doing sew-alongs with her, when you look at the pattern, if there are things that you can attach as you go along, that's going to help you immensely when it starts coming to the time where you're assembling the quilt top and putting on the borders and the and all of the other blocks that go into this. So I like doing that, so I go ahead and I attach the blocks as I go each week. So yeah, this is How to Build a Scarecrow, Lori Holt. You can check out her blog, link in the description box below. She has step-by-step tutorials on how to do each one of these blocks. I really haven't had too many issues with them. I think the only issue that I had was there was something, the top of this, I cut my fabric the wrong direction, so I had to cut a new piece out. And then Riley Blake had an oops in their cutting guide, and they didn't have a big enough piece of fabric for the pants on the overalls. So I was so thankful that I ordered from Fat Quarter Shop because they sent me another piece of fabric, and they sent that out to anyone that ordered the kit. But they sent another piece of fabric so I'd have a long enough piece of fabric for those pants and those overalls. So those are the only two like little oopses that came into play with this so far that I can think of. I did cut the green stripe for my R the wrong direction, but I don't care about that. That's fine. I think that's it. Yeah, that was, and I can't really say that any of the blocks so far have been like really difficult. The one thing that I would share, if you haven't done the Scarecrow block yet, I used my Turn It All tool to turn out those shapes, and it made it so much easier. You just cut like a little slit in one end of your interfacing on the back and push your Turn It All tool down in there and turn it and then push it out, and it works really well. If you haven't seen me use the Turn It All tool, there's a couple of the videos in the Bloom Quilt Along that I used that. And I'm just telling you, it makes it so much easier, and it's such a quick method to turn out long, skinny shapes. The other quilt that I'm doing a sew along right now on the channel for is the Dutch Chocolate Quilt with, it's for my stepdaughter. It's out of the Perfect 10 Quilts book by It's So Emma. It's from Fat Quarter Shop. And so I am doing, and this is a sneak peek because that video on block assembly, on block choice and block assembly post this Thursday on the June 27th of 2024. So you're going to get to see a block before that video post. But this is one of the blocks she chose to be in her quilt. So I do have all 16 blocks for her quilt completed. And I will be recording a video on doing the sashing, and that will post next week. So if you're sewing along with me on the Dutch Chocolate Quilt, that's kind of a sneak peek on where we're at with that sew along. All right, so that's my quilting progress for the most part. As far as other crafty things, I have put a few more bags in my Etsy shop. So if you're interested in getting one of those project bags and fabric and floss clutches, make sure you check that out. I'm shipping within 2 or 3 days. All the bags that I have listed are actually done, so you don't have to wait for me to sew them after you order them, which is kind of annoying when you figure that out when you order from someone and then it's like, oh, it's not ready. I have to wait for you to sew. But anyway, so all of my bags are finished and ready to be shipped out as soon as you place your orders. So check that out. My link in the Etsy shop is in the description box below. So as far as the quilting progress and the quilting goals for June and how I've done, I think I've done pretty good. The only thing I did not get done was I did not go quilting at my brother's last week, and that is because my great nephew's been in the hospital, and I just didn't want to put any more on the family that I needed to. So I kind of held off on that, and I'll go quilting as soon as I can. I do have quite a pile together of quilts that need to be quilted, but you know, family's always first, and I definitely did not want to put any additional pressure on my brother and his family just for me to go quilt some quilts. That seems silly. So I am current with the Moda Blockheads. I am current with Lori Holt Scarecrow for the most part. I just gotta, do the blocks for this week. And I have made some significant progress on the Dutch Chocolate Quilt for my stepdaughter. So that is good news. Good news. As far as July, I definitely will be finishing up the Dutch Chocolate Quilt top, and I'm going to be finishing up the Lori Holt Scarecrow, oh, I think the Moda Blockheads quilt top also finishes up in July. So I have all three of my quilting projects that are going right now will be finishing next month. So that will be the top priority, and then I'll have to decide what I'm going to be doing next as far as quilting. I have a couple ideas, but I'm not positive which way I'm going to go with those quite yet. But stay tuned for that. Hopefully my next Flosstube in 2 weeks, maybe before, if I make a decision, I'll announce what my next quilt sew along is going to be. So with all of that being said, the last thing I want to give you an update on is, oh my gosh, the last Flosstube I showed you a stack of sewing patterns that I had purchased at Joann's when they were on sale. I have not purchased any fabric for any of those, but I have plans. I did put them in order. I put them in a priority order, so that's, you know, like a good step to start with. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not really sure where I'd put them. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find them. But I cut out 2 shirts for my husband, and here is one of them that I got done. He wanted a short sleeve camp style shirt. We found this fabric on Amazon. Is a discontinued line by Michael Miller. So if you're an MG enthusiast, I searched and searched and searched, and I found 6 yards at this fabric store happened to have still in stock, and I bought all 6 yards. It may still be out there someplace. Check with your local shops maybe if they carry Michael Miller stuff. But here he is in his short sleeve camp shirt. He's super happy. I'm actually really excited and impressed with how this shirt turned out. It looked really good, and it has like a really nice finished look to it. It almost looks like you bought it at a store, but I know that I made it. So it took me about 5 hours probably to make it, maybe 6, because when I had it all together, we realized that it was too big. And I had to take a lot of it apart and put it back together. So I'm getting better at that now too. The seam ripper and I are good friends these days. So anyway, that is my other little crafty sewing project that I had on my craft table in the past 2 weeks. I am just enjoying all the time that I have to spend crafting, and that's really what it comes down to. Like, just, you know, find your joy when you're crafting and creating, right? So I would encourage you to do the same. With all of that being said, I would just like to say thank you once again for subscribing, for liking my videos. Thank you guys for sharing these out. I've seen the shares going up and up, so I know that you guys are actually doing that for me, and I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you are interested in some of the things I have going on, please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post a video. And if you enjoyed what you heard in this video, please hit the thumbs up and do a like for the video. Be sure to leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or concerns or feedback on anything that I've said or things that I've said wrong that you need to correct me on. I'm good with that too. Sometimes I do a goof up. So I look forward to seeing your comments. I do respond to those probably within 24, 48 hours. So if you need something from me, please feel free to reach out. Until next time, I hope you find joy in your crafting and creating. I hope that you're staying safe and that you are finding time to carve out for yourself. And of course, and as always, happy stitching.